Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into something absolutely critical, not just for longevity, but for quality of life, for independence, for vitality in the later stages of life. Stroke is one of the leading causes of disability and death in seniors. But what if I told you that there's one simple morning habit, completely natural, free, and backed by science, that could cut that risk by over 50%? We're going to break it all down. The neuroscience, the physiology, the behavioral science. I'll walk you through what's actually happening in the brain and body during those first waking hours, why that time is so powerful, and what one specific habit can literally rewire your brain, improve blood flow, and protect you from one of the most devastating medical events of aging. When we think about powerful habits that can dramatically improve our health, especially as we age, hydration often gets overlooked. Yet it's one of the simplest, most accessible actions we can take, and it holds the power to literally change the trajectory of our day and our health. Let's be very clear, the body loses a significant amount of water during sleep through respiration and perspiration. When you wake up, you're in a state of mild dehydration. For seniors, this isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a real risk. Dehydration thickens the blood, making it more viscous, and when your blood is thicker, it moves more slowly. That slow circulation is one of the hidden contributors to the formation of clots and increased risk of stroke. Now imagine this, you've just woken up. Your blood is slightly thicker, your vessels are constricted from overnight fasting, and your heart is preparing to ramp up for the day. If you do nothing to support this process, the body has to work harder to get that blood moving. But when you drink a glass, better yet, 2 glasses of room temperature water within the first 10 minutes of waking, you immediately begin to rehydrate your system. Blood volume increases, circulation improves, and your vascular system starts operating with greater efficiency. This isn't speculation. Studies have shown that morning hydration can reduce blood viscosity and support more stable blood pressure levels. 2 massive factors in stroke prevention. What makes this habit even more powerful is its ripple effect. Hydration first thing in the morning doesn't just impact stroke risk. It also affects cognitive clarity, energy levels, digestion, and even your mood. But from a stroke prevention standpoint, the science is compelling. Dehydration has been directly linked to increased risk of ischemic strokes, the most common type of stroke, because it reduces plasma volume and promotes clot formation. By simply beginning your day with adequate water intake, you support not only smoother blood flow, but also the proper balance of electrolytes that help regulate nerve and muscle function, including the function of your heart and brain. There's also a behavioral layer here. When seniors begin their morning with intention, when they begin with a health-focused act, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. It signals that the day is not passive, it's purposeful. Drinking water isn't just about hydration. It's about momentum. It's about beginning with a win. And that small win compounds. It becomes easier to make better choices later in the day when you've already made one good one. If you're someone who wakes up feeling groggy, foggy, or even anxious, understand that dehydration amplifies all of those sensations. Your brain is over 70% water. Without enough fluid, neurons don't fire properly, and hormonal signals can become dysregulated. Just by replenishing what was lost overnight, you give your body the raw material it needs to regulate itself. No supplements, no gimmicks, just water. And if you want to take it one step further, adding a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon can provide trace minerals that help your cells absorb the water more efficiently. This isn't about following a trend, it's about returning to what the body needs to function at its best, especially in a stage of life where resilience matters more than ever. The research is clear, the biology is simple, and the action is easy. 1 glass of water, first thing in the morning, may not seem like much, but over time, day after day, that habit could be the very thing that keeps your blood flowing, your brain firing, and your life moving forward with clarity and strength. Every morning presents an opportunity to reset your body's internal systems, and one of the most powerful, underused tools for doing that is sunlight. The human body evolved in response to natural light. For seniors in particular, who often spend more time indoors or have disrupted sleep patterns, morning sunlight is not just beneficial, it's essential. When you expose your eyes and skin to sunlight early in the day, you send a direct signal to your brain, specifically to the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus. This signal resets your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs sleep, energy, hormone release, and cardiovascular function. And here's the crucial part: when your circadian rhythm is sensed properly, your risk of stroke and other heart-related issues significantly decreases. This isn't just about getting some fresh air. Light, especially blue, spectrum light that's most abundant in the morning, influences the production of cortisol, a hormone that helps you feel awake and alert. When cortisol is released at the right time, in the early part of the day, it supports healthy blood pressure regulation and sharpens your focus. But when that rhythm is off, cortisol can spike at the wrong times, leading to sustained stress, high blood pressure, and inflammation, all of which increase stroke risk. A consistent habit of getting 10 to 15 minutes of morning sunlight, without sunglasses and ideally outdoors, can help anchor your cortisol rhythm in a way that promotes cardiovascular stability and neurological health. For older adults, this practice becomes even more critical. Aging often comes with natural disruptions in sleep, changes in hormone levels, and a gradual decline in mitochondrial function, all of which affect energy, immune strength, and vascular resilience. Morning sunlight addresses all of these. The light not only influences hormone release, but also impacts nitric oxide levels in the skin and blood vessels. Nitric oxide helps dilate blood vessels, improving blood flow and lowering blood pressure. This is a natural, safe, and accessible way to increase vascular flexibility and circulation, both of which are protective against stroke. What's more, regular exposure to natural morning light helps regulate melatonin production. Melatonin isn't just about sleep. It's also a powerful antioxidant that protects brain tissue and reduces inflammation. When your melatonin levels are aligned with natural light and dark cycles, your body's recovery systems work more effectively. This is especially vital for seniors whose regenerative capacity tends to be slower. By simply stepping outside each morning for a short period of sunlight, you allow your body to realign its protective processes. There's also a psychological benefit that can't be overlooked. Morning sunlight exposure is linked to improved mood, reduced anxiety, and lower risk of depression, all of which indirectly support physical health. Seniors who maintain a consistent morning light routine report better sleep, higher energy throughout the day, and more motivation to engage in other healthy behaviors. And these aren't minor details. They are the difference between surviving and thriving. Even if mobility is limited, sitting near a window with direct sunlight or on a balcony for a few minutes can still have measurable benefits. The key is consistency. Your brain and body crave rhythm, and the morning light is nature's most potent cue to tell every system inside you that it's time to activate function and protect. This one habit creates a cascade of biological events that sets you up for a day of clearer thinking, steadier movement, and more balanced cardiovascular function. In a world filled with noise and complicated advice, morning sunlight is simple, powerful, and free. It doesn't ask for your money, just your time and your presence. But in return, it gives your body what it needs to keep you sharp, stable, and safe. That's a habit worth making sacred. The moment you rise in the morning, your body is transitioning from a state of rest to one of activity. For seniors, this shift can feel abrupt. Muscles are often stiff, joints may ache, and the nervous system is still calibrating. That's why engaging in gentle movement or stretching shortly after waking is more than just a feel-good routine. It's a scientifically supported habit that enhances blood flow, reduces stroke risk, and sharpens neurological responsiveness. Movement gets the blood circulating, wakes up the muscles, and triggers the brain to become fully alert. It's not about doing a full workout or pushing the body hard. It's about signaling to the body that the day has begun, that the systems need to work together, and that vitality is still present. What happens physiologically is fascinating. When you move your body, even with something as simple as shoulder rolls, neck rotations, or a slow forward fold, you stimulate your vascular system. This helps the blood vessels expand and contract efficiently, allowing for improved oxygen delivery to vital organs, especially the brain. For seniors, this is incredibly important because blood flow to the brain can diminish with age, increasing the risk of stroke and cognitive decline. Stretching or light movement within the first 15 minutes of waking activates muscle fibers and promotes the release of nitric oxide, a compound that dilates blood vessels and lowers blood pressure naturally. But there's another layer that often gets overlooked: the connection between movement and the nervous system. Every time you move a limb, shift your spine, or engage your core, you are sending signals through the peripheral nerves back to your central nervous system. This feedback loop improves coordination, balance, and proprioception, the awareness of where your body is in space. All of these functions are critical in preventing falls, which are a major risk factor for hospitalization in older adults. But more importantly, this kind of movement stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, often referred to as fertilizer for the brain. BDNF supports the health and growth of neurons, which not only sharpens cognition, but helps the brain stay resilient against stroke-induced damage. The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't require equipment, a gym, or any special environment. A few mindful stretches performed in a safe standing or seated position. Gentle neck turns, wrist circles, leg extensions can awaken the system without any strain. For those with limited mobility, even slow breathing paired with arm movements can be enough to activate the cardiovascular system and enhance circulation. It's about intention and consistency, not intensity. When the body moves, it heals, it protects, it becomes more aligned with itself. And there's something deeply grounding about starting the day with a body-centered ritual. It reinforces the mind-body connection, giving you a sense of control and presence. Seniors who begin their day with movement often report feeling more awake, more confident in their balance, and more motivated to continue other health habits throughout the day. It becomes a gateway to better decisions. After movement, hydration feels natural, A healthy breakfast makes more sense. The brain begins to associate morning activity with reward and clarity. This habit, when repeated daily, doesn't just prevent stagnation in the body, it prevents stagnation in life. It signals that the day ahead is an opportunity to engage, to move forward, and to grow stronger regardless of age. In a stage of life where many feel the world is telling them to slow down, this one simple act of gentle movement is a declaration: I am still here, still capable, and still building strength. That message, echoed in the body every morning, becomes a powerful force in rewriting the narrative of aging. The early morning hours are a pivotal time when the mind and body shift from rest to alertness. It's also a time when cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, naturally spikes to prepare you for the day ahead. While this rise is normal, for many seniors it can be excessive or erratic due to disrupted sleep patterns, medication interactions, or long-standing anxiety. That's where mindful breathing comes in, not as a trendy wellness practice, but as a powerful, scientifically backed method to stabilize the nervous system, regulate blood pressure, and reduce the risk of cardiovascular events like stroke. The beauty of this habit lies in its simplicity. Just a few minutes of focused, slow breathing each morning can recalibrate the autonomic nervous system, particularly by activating the parasympathetic branch, the body's rest and digest response, which counterbalances the stress-driven sympathetic system. The physiological shift that occurs during slow, intentional breathing is measurable. Heart rate slows, blood vessels relax, and oxygen delivery becomes more efficient. This isn't about sitting cross-legged or entering a meditative trance. It's about taking control of your breath in a way that cues safety and calm to the entire body. When breath slows to about 5 to 6 cycles per minute, inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6. You trigger a cascade of calming neurochemicals like acetylcholine and GABA. These compounds help soothe the nervous system and quiet the inflammatory processes that are often overactive in aging populations. Inflammation, especially chronic low-grade inflammation, is a silent contributor to arterial plaque, clotting, and elevated stroke risk. Breathing done correctly and consistently is one of the most accessible tools to fight this internal storm. Beyond the biological benefits, mindful breathing serves as an emotional anchor. Seniors often face morning anxiety, worrying about health, mobility, memory, or the passage of time. Taking just 5 minutes to sit, breathe slowly, and observe the breath can dramatically reduce this emotional noise. In doing so, you also improve heart-brain coherence, the synchronized rhythm between the heartbeat and the brain's signals. When this coherence is high, decision-making sharpens, emotional resilience strengthens, and physical systems, like digestion, immunity, and circulation, function with greater ease. That coherence, fostered by slow rhythmic breathing, has been linked in numerous studies to improved vascular function and reduced risk of acute cardiac events. There's also the question of how breath affects posture and muscular tension. When you breathe shallowly, using only the upper chest, the body remains in a subtle fight or flight stance. Shoulders tense, neck muscles tight, blood vessels slightly constricted. When you shift to diaphragmatic breathing, drawing the breath deep into the belly and expanding the ribs, you release muscular holding patterns that can interfere with healthy blood flow and contribute to high blood pressure. For seniors who often experience physical rigidity due to lack of movement or chronic pain, this gentle release of tension can be transformative. The best part is that this habit requires no equipment, no external resources, and no change in location. You can do it while sitting in bed, on a favorite chair, or even during your morning walk. The key is intentionality. You're not just breathing. You're training your nervous system, softening your blood vessels, and creating a moment of calm clarity before the day takes over. Over time, the cumulative effect of this morning breathing practice can reshape how your body responds to stress, how your heart functions under pressure, and how resilient your brain becomes against neurological damage. Many underestimate the power of something so simple, but breath is the only system in the body that is both automatic and under your control. That means you can influence it at will, and by doing so, influence nearly every other system connected to it. When practiced consistently, mindful breathing becomes more than a technique. It becomes a safeguard. It becomes your first act of strength each day.